Hey everybody, this is Michael Bryson and Gregory Ulysse for This is Bodybuilding. How you doing, Greg?
Very good, very good.
Awesome.
Very good, actually. Yes. Yes.
Big show this past weekend, the Texas Pro, produced by Battle Up Productions, Freddie Nadeau, Flexi Brown, Sheila Brown, and Angelica Teixeira. Great show. It was one of the more exciting ones, I think, of the season.
From what I've seen, I mean, all the classes were very competitive, all of them.
Yeah, there were several.
Open, women's physique. Yeah.
Yeah, very competitive. A number of the contests were won by like 1 point difference between the winner and the second place person. Even in open bodybuilding, it wasn't straight first across the board. It was a really close contest all the way around. Really good show. Should we talk about men's open first? That's sort of what everyone
let's do it.
wants to hear.
Probably that's the one that people want to hear for sure.
Yeah.
Let's start with men's open, yeah, for sure, because that was a very great show.
It was super competitive. First place was Ian Valier. Second was Steve Kuklo. Third was Phil Clayhar. And fourth was Martin Fitzwater, who was making his debut. He looked amazing. I was really proud of him. He did a great job. I kind of predicted that he had that possibility of doing that, making a big impact when he first entered, and he definitely did. The top three, very competitive. How did you have it?
Yeah, from what I've seen. You know what? A couple of things surprised me. I mean, number one, Phil Clahar is for real.
Yeah.
He's been, I mean, you know what? My thing was this. I said, at Tampa, it looked great. But can he duplicate the same thing a week later? And he did. And he absolutely did. He looked great. I mean, honest to God, you know what? To a point, if he would have won the show, not too many people would have cried about it. Okay?
No, I agree with you.
Even though I didn't have him winning, but you know what I mean. Steve looked like a monster. Steve was just big, crazy big. I mean, when I heard that he was about 290, that's big. That's Ramy big.
That's Ramy big. Yeah, that's what Ramy weighed at the Olympia.
That's like Ramy big. Yeah. I mean, yes, yeah. And Ian came in better than he was at Tampa. And I like Ian because Ian came in to see how he would stack up against Steve. And he ended up winning. And people gave him flack online because he decided to do the show. And right now, he made a lot of people shut up because now he proved his point. And I mean, all three guys look great. And even, I don't know if you saw a post from what's his name? From the son of Germanian, from, what's his name? From,
Tyler.
Yeah, sorry, Tyler.
Oh,
Tyler said it. Tyler said, right. Tyler made a post, I think, praising the three guys because these guys came in great and made the show great. And that was an amazing show because up to the last minute, we didn't know what was in the show. You know? So it was a great top three.
Absolutely. Phil, to talk about all three of them, Phil, in Tampa, he came in at his all-time best. He looked so much better than in Chicago. It was like two different bodybuilders pretty much. And I think this week in Dallas or Irving, Texas, he looked at least as good, if not better, which, like you said, proved that he can not only can he peak well, he can do it on multiple occasions. And he was probably, I would say, the most conditioned guy of the show in men's open. Great back, his muscle bellies in his back pop like crazy. 3D back. But I still had him in third pretty strongly, both prejudging and finals, just because of other things, structural things. His legs to me are really great condition, lots of great separation, but there's not much size or sweep to the quads. Calves are not there, and his arms too are a little small for that torso, in my opinion. But he's, I think, 47 years old. I don't think we're going to be seeing him put on too much more size on those legs, but he still looked fantastic. I mean, it was unreal. And as you said, and I spoke to Will Whitman, photographer who was there. He was doing, he did some great work, as always. But he's there. He is a personal friend of Ian Valliere. I'm friends with Steve Kuklo, and we both had the people that we wanted to see win, but we talked about it. And if they had said it was Phil that won that show, neither one of us would have been like, that's bullshit, it would have been okay. But all three of them look great. And we thought the same of Ian and Steve. I had at prejudging, I had Steve winning the show. I felt he won more poses. There were some poses that Ian took, but the poses that Steve took, I thought he took overwhelmingly. Most of the front shots, he was just so big. And those other two guys are big men. I mean, Ian was 257 or something like that on stage, but next to someone who's 287, or whatever Steve was on stage, 290, he was overwhelmed, I thought, in the front shots, especially the front double, the most muscular. Steve really improved his front double and his front lat spread a lot, and just how he executes those poses. But at finals, I did feel that two things happened. I felt Steve's back seemed to blur a bit. There seemed to be a watery film, a slight film on the back and the hamstrings. Nothing horrible, but at the same time, I felt Ian was tightening up and hardening, and he was already hard. I thought he just got harder and harder as he posed. Tyler posed those guys like crazy, took them through, I don't know how many comparisons, I think at least 4 times all the way through all the mandatories. And as they did it, at prejudging, it looked like, and Steve said this in an interview, that it looked like Ian was fading. I don't think he was fading. He did look like he was huffing and puffing a bit. His stomach was coming in and out, while the other guys were keeping it together and highly energetic. Not that he didn't have energy, he had good energy, but he wasn't holding poses for as long, and it looked like he was struggling a little bit. But once finals came along, it was different. He just got more and more shredded. His physique never faded. It just got better and better. So while I would have loved to see Steve win, and I would not have had a problem if they announced him as the winner, because he looked amazing. I don't have any problem with what they did with giving the title to Ian. And Ian, like you said, he proved a lot of people wrong. He not only proved people wrong, he earned $20,000 in the course of 2 weekends. So that's pretty good.
Oh yeah, you know what? And you know what? I'm happy for him, because now this guy, right? And at this point of time, you know what? Imagine what he can do at the Arnold. At the Arnold, he can surprise. I'm not saying he's gonna win or whatever, but he's gonna be in the conversation in there. You can't like Steve can beat Ian next week, but right now Ian is on like momentum is good. You won 2 shows going into the Arnold. I mean, you're going in with 2 wins. That's a very big confidence booster for sure.
Yes, I agree with you. The Arnold is, I mean, that contest, it's like any man's show. There's like, I think Williams got to be considered the favorite just because he's won it twice and he's the reigning champion, highest ranking Olympian of them. But certainly guys like Ian or Steve can win the show if they come in right and things go their way, they can do it. Nick Walker will be very interesting to see him next to these guys who are like top level guys.
Yeah, true.
It'll be interesting. And Sergio Oliva coming back after, last year he placed fourth, I think, behind Steve.
Fourth, exactly.
Yes. Or was he fifth? He was fifth, I think.
He was fifth. Okay, and
Ramy was third. Yeah.
And then
I actually had Sergio in third, and I had Steve in fourth, and I had Ramy in fifth. He was just not. Okay. I mean, so that's so saying that. I know we saw an all-time best Ramy at the Olympia. I think that those guys, he's not indestructible, and these guys, if they come right, anything can happen at the Arnold and at the Olympia.
Oh, for sure. I mean, the Arnold is as you just said, it's an open show. I mean, nobody can say that they have a lockdown on the win. Nobody.
Yeah.
And it's going to come down to who's going to come in at his best. But last weekend, like you said, I think Ian won it at night. Like you said.
Yeah.
Ian looked a little tighter at night, and he got it there. As you said, I would have loved to see Steve win because Steve to me is an Olympian. As you know, we don't know. Are they gonna get an invite? I don't know. But for sure, at least we know one thing. Ian deserves to be where he is now. Ian right now can say to himself that I'm a top bodybuilder now. Going to the Arnold is gonna be a great show for him. And you know what? Steve, and as we just said, Steve can change within 3 weeks and come in better at the at the Arnold. That's not a given. I mean, that's good because now the Arnold becomes a very good show.
It's very good. It's very exciting, and that spot, which I was thinking was pretty much, there's still a chance that someone like Steve or someone like Cedric McMillan or Sergio Oliva can come in and win that show and qualify for the Olympia. But there's a whole bunch of guys in there who are already qualified for the Olympia who are also very, very good, like William Bonac, like Akeem Williams, and Nick Walker's already qualified as well. So there's a chance that the Arnold may or may not influence who is actually qualifying for the Olympia. Also, Marty Fitzwater, like I said, who placed fourth. Very impressive. He's training partners with Brett Wilkin, who also shocked the world in Chicago. I thought Marty did a great job.
Yes.
Next year, he could win a show of this level. He just needs more time, a little more muscle, more maturity to his muscle. Although he's got a ton of muscle, he looked great.
He looked great. And you know what? He beat Hassan. He beat seasoned veteran, which is great. Which is very great. I mean, him and Brett, you know what? You know what's good now? We're seeing new guys coming in, new blood coming in, which is great, which is good, which is something we waited because now, as you know, like the current crop is getting older. So now we have Nick, Brent, Martin, Ian, all young guys coming in, which is great because that's what we need for bodybuilding to stay fresh. Oh
yeah. In the show,
for sure. I mean,
in the open, so for sure, Hassan Mustafa, who placed fifth. Oh my God, I gotta say, seeing him, that was the closest I've ever been to him. I was second row. Pretty much center. Man, that guy is a freak. What a monster! He has to walk around his legs to walk. Like the legs are so humongous. He is huge. If that guy was just shredded from the back, he would just, wow, man, he would be hard to beat. He doesn't have a pretty shape, but everything is huge. His arms are huge too. They got to be 24 inches around. I don't know what they are, 23. He's huge. Oh, man.
You know what? You said that. You know what? I remember I saw him at Tampa, at the Tampa in 2019 when Dexter won. And I remember seeing him there. People do not know until you see him in person how big he is. And he's not tall.
No, he's not tall. He's
He's
just
not.
so thick. It's crazy.
He's like 5'7" at the most. He's so big. It's not even funny.
To talk about size too, I want to bring Steve back into it too. A lot of people, when you see Steve by himself, I think because he's so proportioned and so, eat balanced and everything, you don't go, oh my God, he's a giant, But when you see him next to people in person, especially, I don't know how many people I spoke to in the audience, in between during intermission, who were like, I can't believe how big Steve is. Like, you don't realize it until you see him on stage. I really want to see him in the Olympia. I really want to see him next to Ramy, because I think people will be like, wow, just an eye-opening thing. So although Hassan Mustafa qualified, Mohammed El Iman, who was sixth in the show, actually got bumped out of the Olympia this weekend by someone in someone in the Europa in Spain. I forget his name now. I had it. I think he's a Russian, but I'm not positive. He got like
is it Vlad something?
Yes, he got like
I think Vlad something.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has one more point now than Mohammed El Iman, and pushing him out of the Olympia, because I thought it was a given that he was qualified. He looked pretty good. I mean, at the show, he's another guy who's huge. His quads are enormous. Big guy, very impressive. Unfortunately, I don't think he's making it to the Olympia this year. So the 212. This was a really good show. I have to say that the winner, Ahmed.
Yes.
I thought he was a clear winner. I thought he was clear winner from the beginning, and so did the judges. They gave him straight first place. Beautiful physique. I spoke to him through an interpreter.
Okay.
After the show, super nice guy who had some broken English, and he told me he was a fan of my page. So I was really
great. All right.
I think that he likes some stuff. So I don't know, but he's just liking the pictures. He's just liking the pictures I post. But anyway, he was very nice, very gracious, and very, very happy. I mean, he was ecstatic that he's going to the Olympia, and he really does have an Olympian physique. I think beautiful proportions, nice muscle.
Yeah.
Just a great physique.
And you know what? He was. I mean, this year he came so close at a lot of shows, and I'm happy that he got. He got the win, because he deserved the win. His front double bicep is amazing. He has a great front double.
Yeah,
front double is very great. I mean, you know what? How is he going to do at Olympia? We don't know, but it was a deserving victory.
Yeah, he had, I think, 3 shows this year, or 2 shows before this one, where he placed second and looked great both of those two. And he could have won those. No one would have gone, what, because he's really, really good. Austin Carr, who I picked, I think we both thought was going to win the show. Austin's got a beautiful physique. He's got amazing quads. He just was not as conditioned as he needed to be to win that show. Especially from the front, he looked good, but from the back, he had no definition at all in the glutes. A lot of water and maybe some body. I don't know, but still, I have high hopes for him for next season. I think he's going to do really, really well. He said that he and his coach, I think is this coach AJ Sims? I forget who he's with.
It is. Yes, exactly. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah. He said they know exactly. He said they know exactly what they need to work on, and it's his glutes and coming in sharper from the glutes down. And he could have won that show had he been, but as it was, in third place was let me get his name right. It was Martin Gomez. And in fourth place was Jason Herbert, who was so shredded. I thought both those guys looked great. Austin just beat them because of his shape, I think, and he's got all this potential in the world.
Yeah.
The sad part of the
And you
show,
know what? It's straight. You know what? I got to give to Austin that because the week before it was a train wreck. The week before,
yeah, he was
so it
much better.
really changed everything within a week for a train wreck.
Yeah, he did a lot of improvement in a week. If he had another show next week, who knows how he would look? He probably win a show. Sad part of the weekend was that it was Guy Cisternino's last show. Guy placed sixth.
Yes.
He placed sixth. I may have had him in fifth, actually. I would have had him in the top five. I thought he looked really good, much better than the last week. He was really conditioned. You know, his upper body size probably is not quite what it used to be before the shoulder surgeries, but he looked great. And sort of a sad time. He's another one of the legends that we're not going to see on stage again, and it's kind of time moves on.
You know what? Like you were saying, you know, like time moves on, and you know what? Like you were saying, the new guard is coming in, and you know, and Guy, you know what? His injuries probably did him in, like most of us at the end of our career. And this guy had a great career. He had a great career. You know what? He finished sixth, which is good. In a I would say competitive show. But you know what? He came out, and you know what? I'm happy for him because he had a great career for sure. Like a lot of time shows, he has nothing ashamed of. Nothing.
Yeah, I think he's won 7 shows in total. I think.
No.
And he's had 2 New York Pro wins. So a great career. He's still going to continue being a presence. I think, you know, he's going to continue working out hard, and everyone who follows him, I think, will still find great motivation in his workout videos. His training videos are just, they're intense. He's an intense individual, really good individual. A guy who you know, I've believed in from the time I saw him. I remember seeing him play second to Aaron Clark at the New York Pro. It was the year before he won his 2 in a row, and I thought he deserved that win. And he and I have had a good relationship. He's always treated me as if I was a legitimate journalist, which not many other people have, and I've always appreciated him for that. Yeah, I'm going to be talking to him real soon, and hopefully, I'm definitely going to be having him on the show real soon as well. But we texted back and forth a bit. I'm going to give him a call tomorrow. We're going to have just a conversation, and then I think next week I'll be having him on the show. So
good. Good. All right. Perfect.
Yeah, I'm happy with that. Talk about a great career. Bikini. Ashley Kaltwasser killed it. She just looked amazing.
Oh my God.
Top 5 were all beautiful.
God. You know what? Can Ashley win the Olympia?
I think she can.
And
I'll tell you what. I don't want to be controversial because I mean, I spoke to Tyler Mannion a bit this weekend about the judging of this show that they did, and I thought it was spot on. I thought they did a great job, and I know it was. I won't go into. So I think he's a very honest guy and an honest judge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they always try to do their best, but this weekend and the Tahoe Pro, Erin Stern, herself a 2-time Miss Olympia in figure, beat Ashley Kaltwasser for the Tahoe Pro Bikini Championship. She looked amazing, but in every comparison I've seen, video and photos, I don't know how that happened, because Ashley looked amazing, and I thought was the clear winner. I wasn't there, but I'm seeing video and I'm seeing photos. I don't know. It makes me wonder,
Yeah.
do they not want to give her that 30th win because that would be the all-time record and break?
You know
And
what? She's gonna get that 30th win. She's gonna get it. I mean,
it can-
the way she's competing, she's gonna get that 30th for sure. They can't deny her because she's gonna compete until she gets it, and she will get it.
yeah, she'll get
I mean, how many shows did she win this year?
I don't know how many total, a lot. And she's at 29. When we were when she was winning, when she was making her acceptance speech with Bob Ciccarello, she said about how she was still chasing Dexter. But then when I saw her backstage, and I said, "Hey, you said you were still chasing Dexter. What win was this for you?" And she said it was her 29th. I said, "Well, then you caught up to him. You're tied." And the first thing she said was, "Yeah, but what I do is nothing compared to Dexter and bodybuilders." So all these people who are like saying, "How dare you compare this to, or why is she like keeping track of this, comparing it to Dexter?" She knows that what she does is bikini and what he does is professional men's bodybuilding. But it is a number of titles, and it's just as hard for her to beat the people she's beating as it is for him to beat the people he was beating. It's just the what goes into building those physiques is different. But she knows that. She was very humble and very cool. I personally think she should have number 30, but it didn't happen this weekend for her at Tahoe.
Maybe at the Olympics. Hold on, is there bikini at the Arnold?
No, yes.
Yes, there's at the Arnold. I think so. Yes.
I don't know who's doing it.
I don't know because I know Arnold I think is it's what is it? It's open fitness, classic and bikini.
I think that's what it is.
Fitness and bikini. Yeah, bikini there. Yeah.
Is it bikini, not figure? I have to look into that. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's bikini. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the girls in the top 5 all look great, but I just think that she was on just a different level.
Yeah.
I think she can win the Olympia for sure. Men's physique. Just to talk about men's physique, it was Joseph Lee who won that show. I'm not a huge fan of men's physique. I don't watch too much of it, but I watched the show pretty good. I was sitting with actually I was sitting with George Brown during most of Bikini. But watching men's physique, it was kind of clear that it was Joseph's show. He was very full, very round upper body. He looked great. And but I won't talk too much about that because do you have anything to say about it? Men's physique?
No, because the thing is, I haven't looked because I look at Men Classic. I didn't see Men's Physique though. Men Classic, because Men's Classic, I watched it because something big happened there. That's why I watched it.
Wow, it was Men's Classic. If that had been the only class or division in the show, it would have been worth the price of admission, man. It was a great contest. The top 3 were fantastic, especially the top 2, but there were a lot of great physiques in the show. No one looked bad. Everyone was on. There was an interesting thing that Neil Curry, I think, had some sort of medical issue. He was
really okay.
Yeah, he was in the top 4 at pre-judging. He was a 4-man call out. He was in the top 4. He looked amazing. He was probably the most highly conditioned person on the stage. He was definitely shredded and was going to make top 4. Maybe he would have made top 3. But then he didn't come back out for finals. And I know that I have to find out what happened to him. He did, I think it was some sort of stomach issues, stomach cramping.
Okay.
He had a problem with another show earlier in the year and had to do the same sort of thing. So he's getting some attention apparently, and hopefully next year he'll be better. But I don't know if it's some sort of digestive thing. I don't know.
Okay. So did he show on stage? No. Okay.
I couldn't tell. He looked great. I mean, I couldn't tell that anything was wrong with him. you know,
Okay.
he just didn't come back out. The top three, I think we both thought that it was going to come between Logan and Steve Lorius, and we kind of thought that maybe maybe Robert Timms could place in the top three if he looked good. But like, how would we know? We hadn't seen him in 3 years, but man, he was spectacular.
Oh man, you know what? When I saw him on it, I was like, oh my God, his upper body is just amazing. Everything, the chest, the arms, the abs, everything. And you know what? Because I remember seeing him and Logan one beside the other. And he was just, you would just see him, Robert, because he was so big. I don't know if you saw the picture. There's a picture of him and Austin, one beside the other.
Yeah.
From double bicep. Man, he looks humongous.
Yeah.
Next to Austin.
Yeah. I don't know how he made his weight. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's probably a visual illusion about how big he is because he was so round and full. You know, if I was to compare the top two, you know, if Logan, which this, by the way, was a 1 point difference between the two. It was a very close contest between Robert and Logan. And I think if Logan had won the show, people may have not had too much of a problem. But the people there, I think we would have been shocked because Logan, I would argue, is the more complete of the two bodybuilders. He's got all his parts flow really well, and his posing is fantastic. He just was. It was something that was overwhelming about Robert. As soon as he came out, I looked at him and I was like, man, like his upper body was huge. My eyes went to his legs. I thought, I don't know, still not quite that big. Then he spread his shot out one of his legs and hit the front double. And way he executed the pose, it was just phenomenal. It was like, wow. I literally think I was sitting next to Tony Tavares, actually his wife. He was next to her, and we just looked at each other like, wow, like what the fuck? It was nutty. It was a nutty experience. I mean, if Logan had won, okay, he could have done so, but man, it was something special about seeing this physique. I said it in my post that it seemed like I don't know. I think he could be a game changer. He could be dangerous at the Olympia.
I was about to ask you that. Where do you see him at the Olympia? Where do you see him land? Because you know what? To me, if he comes in the same, he's a top 5 for sure.
He's a first call out guy.
For sure. The only thing is, you know what? I would say maybe a bit more legs, maybe a bit more. Upper body forget it. It's okay, no problem. But maybe a bit more legs instead of that. I don't know. He's gonna make a big splash there. Oh yeah.
His upper body is as good as any upper body I've ever seen. It was sort of Ronnie Coleman-esque, especially the biceps are just nutty. He's got the split and it pops up even higher. Amazing peaks. You know, I thought his posing was great. He kept things really short and sweet, both of when he did the mandatories and when he did his own his routine at the night show. They were like the shortest routines ever. He just hit it was just like, there, you don't need to see anymore. I showed you, I'm a winner. It was pretty neat. It was pretty cool. But yeah, I think his legs, they came up a bit. They looked good. They scraped the separation and definition in his legs. But when he stands next to someone like Chris Bumstead, who's got really good legs, that's going to be a you know, which would, I think, prevent him from beating Chris this year. I don't think anyone's beating Chris this year, even though I saw what I saw. But
I think so too. But you know what? If I'm Breon and these guys and Lord Jones, I mean, Robert Timms is no joke.
Yeah.
He's no joke. Robert is definitely no joke. I don't know.
I was looking at pictures of Lord
'Cause I
Jones.
think he can. Oh, yeah.
Lord Jones is another guy who's he's going to bring it this year. I think he got huge, man, in the offseason. Huge. So I don't know. He's got a lot.
He's big. He's big. He's big. You know what? You know what the thing is now? If you look at that, Chris, Lord, Robert are three tall guys. Is the class moving toward taller guys? So that's why guys like Terrence.
I think I said this, and you said this last year too. That it's moving towards that. But then Terrence still came out and bam, he took second place, and Breon was third. So
Yeah.
I think it's still about the proportions, the symmetry, and the quality of the physique. I think Terrence can still do his thing, but it's going to be very, very interesting. Logan Franklin picked up an extra $1,000 for best posing routine.
Okay.
At the day show, it was really interesting. His music cut off about halfway through, and he just it just cut off. The music just stopped. But he kept doing his routine all the way through, a cappella. And everyone was like, should he? Did they cut the music to tell him to leave the stage, or was that accidental? It seemed accidental because it was very short. But he finished his post routine a cappella, and then he left. And then he was allowed to do the whole routine with the music at finals on Saturday.
I saw that.
And he looked.
I saw that. Yeah.
He was wearing Arnold colored tights, it looked very retro. And man, that guy's posing is phenomenal. He hit all these classic Arnold poses, all the double back, the twisting back doubles and things. And he hit there was Samir Bannout, there was Bob Paris,
Yes.
I saw Lee Labrada poses. It was really great. It all flowed together. And I thought that was a well-deserved award. Third place was Steve Laureus, who still continues to disappoint, because I have to say, I was talking to people too, it's like his physique is amazing. It's not just the fact that he's not as sharp as he can be. He's up there when he's posing, hitting like the Mantis shot, which is an amazing shot for him, but the look in his face is like, is this okay? Did I do it right? Like, there's a lack of confidence, fire, and passion in his eyes and in his movements. And it translates to saying, you're no better than third place. And it's very frustrating, because he could be winning shows like this and be challenging Chris Bumstead. But it goes down to what, I've had conversations with people like Justin Miller, who coaches George Peterson, and it's beyond the genetics, which all these guys have. The guys at the top have to have great genetics, but the true champions have got to have great mindset and great heart. And I'm sorry if I come off like a dick and being mean to Steve, but it's frustrating.
No, actually not, because you know what? I mean, to his defense, he looked better than Chicago.
Better, absolutely. Which is why he could have really been fighting to win the show if he had been fighting to win the show, but he wasn't fighting. And
exactly, but and you know what? He had the potential to win that show, but Robert would have been hard to beat.
Oh yeah,
the way he looks. Even though 100% Steve could have won, because Steve has better legs and all that.
Yeah.
But he would have needed to come in really, really sharp to beat Robert and Logan.
But that top three could have been more like the top three of Men's Open, where you're like, oh, well, it could have gone anyway, and we could have been fine with it. But it wasn't that way, because he wasn't that way. Yeah.
No.
I hate to be.
Top two would be that.
Yeah. Let's see. Women's physique, another great contest. Man, again, another 1 point difference. Excuse me, I'm burping.
Yes.
1 point difference.
No problem.
Ashley Jones and Lenka, whose last name I always butcher. She's Russian.
Frankova. Yes, Frankova.
Yes.
Yeah.
She looked amazing, man. I was like, I don't know, but as it went on, I mean, Ashley she's just got a nice roundness to her muscle when she's in shape. When she not that she was out of shape in Tampa, but she was just at a different level here in Texas. And those muscle bellies with that separation, and she moves so well. Her posing is beautiful. Yeah, she won that show, but by 1 point because they were both great.
And you know what? Ashley looked, you know what she looked like? She looked like a young Iris Kyle. The way her body is, like a young Iris Kyle. Yeah,
The
yeah, yeah,
muscle,
yeah.
the
It's like
quality
the
of the
same
roundness.
muscle,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, 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 yeah. But you know, Lenka has a great year. I mean, she has a great year. I mean, she got 2 wins, 2 second place. I mean, she really had a good year. She
right.
had a very good year.
She had 2 strong wins and 2 very strong second places because both of those
Two very
shows
strong second place. And
she was really
you
fighting.
know,
I think she can do really
yeah,
well.
exactly. And you know what? Let's just something right. I think so too. You know what? Because as you said, she got 2 second place. I mean, strong seconds. I mean, like remember, she got second to Patricia. That she got second. She got second place to 2 athletes that were very, very good.
Yeah,
Never probably at their best or close to it. So I mean, for Lenka, it's a great thing here.
agreed.
So she can do damage at the Olympia. She can. You know what? Yeah.
Great year also for Liz Bradshaw, who placed third here and is
Yes.
qualified now by points for the Olympia. She's first by far, I think, in points. Again, great conditioning. She presents very, very well. I think just with the other two are structurally superior to her. Yeah.
Yes.
But
yes.
she gave a very, very strong performance, looked amazing. It was really great to see her live and in person and that close to see that what she looked like, and she looked great. Jeannie Feldman was fourth place. This girl has got one of the most beautiful backs I've ever seen. Her back double bicep is gorgeous. I mean, her traps especially are like Phil Heath. She was really, really good. It's just the others. I think the 3 ahead of her were just more conditioned, but she's a great physique competitor. I'm a big fan of hers now, and it's seeing her in person, man. Beautiful back. That's all I can say. It was great. But yeah, Ashley was great win for her. I spoke with Sarah, Ms. Olympia was there, Villegas. I'm mispronouncing her name too. She was there.
You know what? Is it me or Sarah looked very big?
She's huge. Yeah, she's very big. She's gonna be. She wasn't.
Okay, she was mixed here.
Yeah, she said she's gonna be blowing away her last year's physique this year, and I believe her. She looks.
She was big next to Ashley. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, she looked great. She presented $5,000 to the winner, and other things too. I think she's paying for nails and tan for Ashley at the Olympia, taking her out for a cheap meal afterwards and things. And she got to pose on stage. She was on stage. She presented it, and they had a side tricep together. It was cool. She's great, Sarah. I spoke with her. You know, she was like, I said, "What do you think about these girls?" And she was like,
"Okay,
they're great." I said, "Do you feel like you're going to have any competition this year at the Olympia?" And she was like, "Oh yeah." Like, you know, she knows these girls are bringing it. And I'm really excited for the Olympia for women's physique. It's going to be a really good show. It's going to be hard to predict a top 5 for that.
And you know what? Like we were saying in the previous shows, this year's Olympia, every class is good. Every class. I mean, in every class, the athletes are there. I mean, it's fun because it's like the show will be great on every level. So there's going to be a lot of great stories coming out of the Olympia. A lot of them.
Yeah. Yes. And it's so good that it's like there's a lot of the divisions. It's hard to predict who's going to win, especially men's open. I don't know who's going to win Mr. Olympia. It's going to be really competitive.
It's going to men's open. You know what? After the Arnold, we're gonna no, we already know now who's in the Olympia now. We already know. I mean, it's a lot now, unless somebody new wins the Arnold. But I mean, the Olympia is going to be. It's not a lock for Ramy at this point. Even though he's a champion, he doesn't have it lock it down.
Yeah,
because a lot of people can go. A lot of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very much like I feel like last year when going in, like it wasn't a lockdown for Brandon. I don't feel it's a lockdown for Ramy. Brandon could win again. I mean, these guys are all really, really good and very competitive, very close to each other in terms of their quality. How about talk about Nick Walker? Could he be the first man in the history of the sport, other than Larry Scott, to win his first Olympia?
You know what? Honestly, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I take on things, okay? For someone to do that, you have to blow the competition away. And we're talking blow them away. I mean, you have to pull a Ronnie Coleman 98, coming from 9th to 1st. And we haven't seen that a lot in the last 6 years of Olympia. I mean, Can he make a mark? Yes, he can. But I mean, pulling a Ronnie did that. I mean, Ronnie went from 9th to 1st. Remember, 98. You know, I don't think he's going to win the show. But this guy has a great future.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to hold off on my predictions. I'm going to hold off on my predictions for him at the Olympia till after I see him on the Arnold, because
at the Arnold,
that's when he's going to face truly top Olympians. You know.
Yeah.
But it's going to be great. He's great. He's going to have a very bright future. Yeah, this show, I'm going to say it goes down in history for me as a personal favorite in terms of the shows that I've gone to live. It was probably the best show that wasn't called the Arnold Classic or the Olympia. And that's saying something because I've gone to a number of New York pros. This was just produced really, really well. I thought it was judged really, really well. And the level of excitement in the crowd, it was so hyped for the finals of men's bodybuilding. Part of that has to do with it being Steve Kuklow's hometown, and he had like
for sure.
100 people in the audience. But beyond that, it was people were cheering for everyone. Like it was a really hyped crowd, and that's, as a WWE person that used to go to WWE shows, is what I always thought was missing in bodybuilding, was like fans going, yeah, and like yelling and screaming. And that was happening. So it was fun. I had a great time. I'm really looking forward
to pyro.
They had pyro. Freddie maybe brought up the pyro. Cut no expenses. The lighting was great. The stage looked great. Of course, next year, I know they have big plans to make it even better than this. It's going to be a really good show. I'm so excited to be in Texas and able to see these things. And I have to say that Freddie and his brother Sandeep treated me with such respect and kindness at the show. They made sure I had like the perfect seats and backstage accessibility and everything. And it was really, really great. So really excited for the future.
You know what? I'm happy. You know what? I'll say something. I'm happy for you because you've been working all these years to make bodybuilding great, and that you're getting that recognition. I mean, you deserve it. I mean, to be treated like royalty, to have great seat. I know what? Honestly, it should be like that now at the Olympia too, because of all the, and I'm not saying that you're my friend, of all the pages that we know, nobody has and nobody ever said something bad about you. People come up to you and saying they like your page. So to me, as I told you years before, MD is gone. You're the new MD now, in the sense that now people need to be on your page to have recognition. And now when they get there, they tell you. I mean, people cry when they're not on your page. So it's just to that point. And you know what? That's why I'm telling you, probably this week, because we have these conversations a lot of time, like, should you continue doing it? And after seeing this week, and I saw when you texted me how you were like really like what is the word? You're really amazed at how the show was great and you felt happy going there. I mean, you know what? Kudos to you. And you know what? If you can't get more of that, get him.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was a good weekend. I was able to speak to a number of top pros, people who I respect a lot, and people who were so nice and so kind. It was really great. I can't say, I don't want to go into too much about like the people I spoke to, but it was a good experience, very good experience. And also, yeah, there's no way I'm going to stop doing This Is Bodybuilding. I have come to realize that even though I might not think too much about it, it seems to touch enough people that, fans, as well as I had a number of fans coming up to me too. It was really interesting. But fans and athletes alike, who I think that what I do is kind of worthwhile. So I'll keep doing it.
Yeah, for sure you have to, Brooke. Because you've gained their respect, and in this sport, respect is something that is hardly earned. When you get it, people respect you, respect your opinion, and you know what? It's gonna be better at the Olympia again. And I'm telling you, everything that happens to you right now is something that you deserve. And if you get more, go. I mean, for sure.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. I appreciate you coming on again to do this. We can do it again before the Arnold, do a little Arnold preview.
Oh, for sure. Arnold and the Olympia, the two good ones are coming in, the Arnold and the Olympia.
Yeah, right on top of each other. It's going to be awesome. So
exactly, a week apart.
Yeah. Wow. Crazy. All right, Greg. Thanks a lot. Everybody, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Everyone that's subscribed so far, there's more every week. Just keep telling your friends to subscribe. I'd appreciate it. This is Michael, Bryson, and Greg Ulysse. This is Bodybuilding.